Adam Carolla, Sarah Collins from Oregon, not downtown Portland, which sucks. Anyway, I'd say Carolla for mayor of California. The love that you have for that state, and you haven't left yet, that's true passion. You can fix it, you can do it. And I love you, and I'm loving every podcast from you, and keep it up. Keep going on. Bye, brother. Love you.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Wow, love you.
Yeah, I think it was said a few times.
The mayor of California. I like that.
We'll just create like a new dictatorial role for you.
Well, it's like they have the Johnny Grant, who can't be alive anymore. Mm-hmm. You remember that name?
No.
Johnny Grant was the mayor of Hollywood, but I don't really think he was the mayor
That's what he
of
called
Hollywood. He was it was like an unofficial title.
You know, that's what Will Rogers did that too. Before there was a mayor of Beverly Hills, Will Rogers, one of my favorite Okies, would tell people he was the mayor of Beverly Hills, and people would believe him.
Right. Yep. Johnny Grant always presided over the Hollywood Walk of Fame events.
Oh, that's cool.
He was always there. Made it to 85 years old. Not too shabby.
I feel like I should know that name though, since I'm like a radio junkie.
Yeah, Johnny Grant. I don't know what I don't know all his background. 84 is when he died at age 84. He was an American radio personality, television producer who also served as an honorary mayor of Hollywood. And again, it's an honorary mayor. Yeah, he wasn't the mayor. I remember when he died. Jimmy's Uncle Frank, who was kind of crazy, wanted Jimmy to be the mayor of Hollywood, but Jimmy didn't want to be the mayor of Hollywood. And then Frank kept trying to convince everybody to tell Jimmy to be the mayor of Hollywood, except for Jimmy didn't want to be the mayor of Hollywood.
And it's a part of the city of Los Angeles. So unfortunately, Karen Bass is their mayor.
Yeah, your mayor's Karen Bass. Now, Johnny Grant, I just found out where my star in the Walk of Fame is going to be.
That's exciting.
Yeah. It's basically Hollywood and Highland. It's right in the thick of things.
Yeah.
There. So
that's a great spot.
Here's a joke that you may possibly not get, Alicia Krause.
Is it because you think I'm dumb or because I'm too young?
No, it's just I don't know. It's like certain car stuff I don't expect ladies to get. Let's say, for instance. Now, so Jimmy sent me a text over the weekend, and he says, "We got your place to your star," and then Jimmy is going to tape his show at a different time so he can be at the thing.
That's nice of him.
That's nice. And then he said, "Would it be okay if I said some words?" And I wrote him back. I said, "Yeah, I'll put you on after Rogan and before Stanhope," which is funny if you're a Man Show follower. And Jimmy got a laugh out of it. Universal Studios also has an honorary mayor. Past mayors include Ernest Borgnine, Tippi Hedren, and Scott Baio.
The only name I knew was Scott Baio.
Wow.
Should I know those other names?
I think, well, none of those other names have ever been in Zapped, which was a great movie from Scott Baio's day. Ernest Borgnine was a huge actor.
Okay.
And
would I know his face if I saw him?
You would know Ernest Borgnine's face.
This is when I need to bring my phone in here so I can Google these kinds of things when he drops these culture
The
things.
Wild Bunch. Poseidon Adventure is probably his biggest, I don't know, Wild Bunch. But then...
oh, yeah.
You know Ernest Borgnine's face, right?
I mean, he deserved to be the honorary mayor of Hollywood.
I know.
He was in so many movies.
Tippi Hedren was Birds? Was she? Yes, yeah. So she is Alfred Hitchcock. I don't know, probably a couple Alfred Hitchcocks, but certainly Birds.
Okay.
And a beautiful blonde.
So Hollywood
like
starlet. But the old Hollywood. Like Gloria Swanson vibes.
Yeah. All right. So, Lisa came out and watched us do stand-up in Phoenix.
It was a lot of fun. Brought some friends. Brought my husband.
Yeah.
I feel like a comedy show. Previously, we talked about how mini golf is a really great first date option. Mm-hmm. I feel like a comedy show is a good, like, within first 3 dates, you should do it. Because you have to be able to laugh with your partner. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you don't laugh at the same things, but it's also an intro into what they think is funny.
Right? Yeah, I agree. I can see the audience, but I didn't spot you guys, so you must have been further back.
Yeah, we were like the second. So there was the first row of tables. We were at the second row of tables, like the high boys.
Well, it would have made me nervous if I knew you were there.
Really? That's funny.
No, but I do. Sometimes when someone says, I'm coming to the show, you do think about that person being in the audience.
I get that. Like, I'm more anxious, I think, when I give a speech. And my mom's in the audience. Mm-hmm. I'm like, am I going to say something a little edgy that makes the Gen Zers laugh? But my mom's going to be back there like...
I'll tell you, the greatest gift my parents ever gave me was never listening to anything I've ever done. So I was always free to say whatever I wanted all the time.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to put yourself in the mindset of like, when you go on cable news or I go on cable news, like I feel like without fail, there will be an executive producer or an anchor that off air is like, oh, we heard the president was watching earlier or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I mean, no disrespect to the president, but a part of me has to go to, I don't care that the president is watching.
That's right.
Because I don't want to just be like catering to what I think the president wants to hear. I want to be true to like what I want to say and think needs to be said.
Like Fetterman.
Yeah, I love that guy. Sure, that's a compliment.
All right, let's go into the news here.
Ooh, you heard about this one, I'm sure, but bringing it to the audience right now. The DOJ has said that the Southern Poverty Law Center funneled over $3 million to white supremacists and extremist groups like the KKK and those Unite the Right guys that showed up in Charlottesville that Biden loved to talk about.
Yeah,
those guys. A grand jury in the Middle District of Alabama returned an 11-count indictment charge against the SPLC with 6 counts of wire fraud, a lot of different bank accounts, and they allege that between 2014 and 2023, so even under the Obama administration, they were secretly funneling money to at least 8 individuals associated with these violent extremist groups. Mm-hmm. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, I mean, if you're not familiar with what they do, they are often recorded by the New York Times, MS Now, CNN, etc.
They're cited.
They're cited and interviewed. And
they're one of these bullshit groups. Okay, so this scheme that they run, the scam that they run, is not that much different than the hospice or the daycare center.
1,000%.
First, they give a euphemistic title, Southern Poverty Law Center, they give it like, so, the place that's running the grift, it's the hospice, is called Caring Angels, or whatever it is. And then the one that's running the youth bullshit is always First Steps Forward, so you start with a super, like, nice, fluffy, euphemistic title. It's also the same scam. And I'm trying to think, you can look it up. They just got sued, and Shapiro's Daily Wire sued them. These companies that monitor content and then tell potential
like
advertisers. Yeah, they tell potential. They're bullshit scams. So then they go to Procter and Gamble and they go, here's our hate list of people you shouldn't advertise with. You essentially are making a bullshit list, getting paid, and hurting people. And the media loves you, and so does George Clooney.
And now we know that they were doing that. So some of the people that were on the Southern Poverty Law Center's like racist list of places that should be targeted by them, racist that they were fighting, were a lot of former employers of mine, actually. David Horowitz Freedom Center, PragerU, Turning Point USA.
Right.
Apparently, Charlie Kirk was a racist. Ben Shapiro is a racist.
Right.
But what they were doing in the grift here was that they were literally paying people to infiltrate these organizations, stir up racism and racist events, while then going around and making tens of millions of dollars from radical leftists that think that these organizations are vibrant and need to be stopped.
Right.
So
I mean, they essentially just did what Black Lives Matter does. You give a good title, get a whole shitload of money, and don't fix anything. And then you have to kind of create the problem. Look, the guy who has the job picking up litter in the park, once there's no more litter, he's going to take a trash can and turn it upside down and make some litter, because that's what he's doing. Well,
if it's a park in LA, unfortunately, I think he'll never run out of litter.
That's a good point. But
here's Kash Patel, FBI director, and acting attorney general Todd Blanche talking about this sweeping investigation.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups.
all right. By the way, if you're George Clooney and you gave him $1 million,
I'd want it back.
I'd want it back. But
if you're George Soros, you should demand it back.
If you're Nike and you gave Black Lives Matter $1 million, wouldn't you want some of that back? I mean, okay, first off, you guys are idiots for giving these people money. But secondly, Obama started this, but it's all Biden talked about, and he created, listen, you create something that doesn't really fully exist in white supremacy and the Klan. And, Biden said 10,000 times white supremacy was the most dangerous thing in this country.
That's why he decided to run, right?
Right. So you say that. Then you have to take your FBI director and tell him to go find it. And then he can't find enough of it at all. So we have to manufacture it. And that's when it starts getting dangerous.
Yep.
So you have to take the old lady who was 20 feet in front of the abortion center protesting or saying a prayer and then go arrest her because you need to pad the numbers of your white supremacy list because you don't have enough. And if you're Jussie Smollett, you got to create it. And there's a noose hanging in the NASCAR garage, and the list just goes on and on and on. I don't know. I feel like the last 10 major racist stories have all been hoaxes. Hands up, don't shoot.
And or apparently allegedly funded by the SPLC.
Right. So good people on both sides. Jesus Christ. And then there's January 6th, which is essentially
I kind of wanted to know, because obviously there's been conspiracies left, right, and center about January 6th. My first thought when that happened was, were there any paid employees of the SPLC that showed up at the Capitol that day and scaled some walls?
AOC was this close to being raped and murdered, even though she wasn't in the building.
They also, interestingly enough, as we pointed out, this started in 2014, but they think that they've been doing this stuff for years, like maybe potentially decades since their founding back in the 70s.
Right.
And so it happened under the Obama administration. The DOJ under Biden actually opened up an investigation into this, and it was very quickly closed.
Yes, wonder why. But by the way, I love all the lawfare stuff. They opened up, it was closed. By the way, Daily Wire, alongside other plaintiffs, sued U.S. State Department for allegedly funding and promoting censorship technology such as NewsGuard and the Global Disinformation Index. So your hero, Joe Biden, and his administration were trying to get people silenced and shut down and put out of business. And vaxxed.
The First Amendment only matters to the left if it's what their people are saying that they want them to say all the time.
Yes.
Like,
I'm just
gotta stick to their
all I
talking
want to
points.
say to all my friends on the left, can we give ourselves, how about a nice 10-minute break on all your righteous indignation about everything all the time? How about you just take a break? How about you realize Joe Biden is the big guy and he was a corrupt and a piece of shit? All the things you love so near and dear, the New York Times, the LA Times, Southern Poverty Law Center, just they're all corrupted. They're all a mess. And I don't know, just give it a break.
It
just
also
take a day off of preaching.
If I were one of my friends that, have experienced, thankfully rare, but real racist incidents in their lives, I would be so offended at like those stories not being able to be heard, or those stories now being downplayed because of the stupidity and radicalism of leftist groups.
Yes.
Like the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Agreed.
You are undermining. It's like women who make up, sexual assault allegations or blow them up. It's like you are undermining actual victims, and you're not doing anything to better them and help them move forward.
True.
That's what pisses me off.
What's next?
All right, Ilhan Omar.
She's a delight.
I mean, so far we've named it like 3 of your favorite ladies today: Karen Bass, AOC, and Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar seems exceptionally angry all the time.
Yeah.
Some people did some things.
Well, when you hate where you live and you're forced to represent the place where you live
in the United States,
she hates
the United States.
She hates the United States as she serves as a representative of the United States, and for her people in DC. It's like you must, like, if you're just like all the time about where you are.
Yes,
I could see being a little bitter about it.
I don't know who this woman is who's annoying Ilhan Omar, but I've said many times, and it's the Elise Stefanik thing she did with the presidents of Harvard and the Ivy League schools. You got to get a woman, and the woman, if it's an attractive woman, it's even better, because women, they can't take it. If it's a dude, it'll be different.
This was a Lindell TV reporter. So she
does a lot of this stuff, and Ilhan, this isn't their first dust up.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying.
She's done this before?
Right.
So she went to ask Ilhan Omar about how she was tied to this $250 million voter fraud.
Right.
$1 million fraud. It wasn't voter fraud. It was the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee that was reaching out to ask about how she had introduced a bill that expanded the eligibility of food distributors. So they weren't just the federally funded child nutrition program. It was non-school entities, and that led to a ton of fraud. And then, of course, on top of that, they wanted to talk to her about how she and her husband have some discrepancies in their financial disclosure filings.
That's what this clip is.
So, and then that's what this clip is, and she does not like it.
Not happy.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it?
Absolutely, you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to tell you jack shit. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
I mean, it's kind of creepy how she's just like keeping a fake smile on her face the whole time.
It's also weird.
Also, that girl's grin at the end.
I'm laughing because I just watched 10 minutes of Nick Shirley chasing elected officials up and down sidewalks, and they're like, "I'm not talking." It's like, why don't you talk to people who have questions?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's kind of part of your job.
Yep.
You're making rules. People want to know, and nobody would even stop and really talk to Nick Shirley, which is a weird thing, because
that's what elected officials are supposed to do.
I agree with that, and also this thing where you explained it, or there's a reasonable, like anytime I've ever gotten to an argument with a woman, I have then gone, no, that's not what happened. Let me explain why you thought
Let me
this is that.
to you.
I will mansplain to it, and it'll be a reasonable explanation, because that's what happened. But that's if you have a good argument. Now, if you just get caught cheating, you just get caught cheating. But if you actually have an argument or a reason, then go ahead and lay it on us.
But I think that part of the reason I love the Nick Shirley chasing around Democrats and the supermajority up in Sacramento is because they, for so long, have kept reporters and influencers and social media people from that building and asking them questions, because they don't have an answer to the questions. Even if it was from their own friendly side, I think that they're in such a bubble and so used to getting away with whatever they want to get away with that they don't have any answers to any questions, whether they're easy or tough.
The reporter's Allison Steinberg from Lindell TV. Well, there's another clip of her bugging the shit out of Ilhan Omar, which is longer as well. By the way, it should all be women. They should all be attractive, and they should only talk to female congresspeople, and they get under their skin a little, and then that's it. The claws come out. They can't stop.
This goes back to like the horrible Karen Bass like clip when she was in Africa, and they were like, "Why didn't you come back?" Or "Why did you go when there was a risk of fire?"
She was at the airport, in L.A. And she got back from Africa, and she wouldn't talk.
And she was like, and she wouldn't talk. And I'm like,
by the way, you're not allowed to be angered by people when they ask you questions that are relevant to your job.
And so I think that even if Ilhan Omar in that clip, she's like, "I already told the American people," and I'm like, then repeat it. If you already have a talking point, then please repeat the talking point.
By the way, I live in America. I don't know what her excuse was from going from, 30 million to 100,000 or whatever it was.
It was like 100,000 to,
she said it was an accounting error. But that's not really an explanation.
It's a lot of zeros.
Yeah. Oh, we got another. Have her again. She, by the way, like I said, she should only bother women because women can't stand other women coming at them. And sorry, we'll back it up a little. Volume.
Hi, Congresswoman Omar. You were just talking about how Trump's economy has failed the American people, but I think the American people really want to know how you went from a negative 65,000 before coming into Congress to over $30 million in just 7 years.
My disclosure is public now.
Yeah, it is. And so a lot of people now are looking into that and finding S. Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or?
Do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
Well, it's listed in the financial disclosure, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Recently stated that the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, but you're on video saying it.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
Like her husband?
Yes, you.
Again, sorry, go back 30 seconds because it's funny. She goes, "I never said that." People act like there's not video. All right, this is fine. Here we go. That's why she hates this woman so much.
That the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, but you're on video saying it.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
I did not.
Yes, you.
Again, this is like what I said. You need to prepare yourself because you can't continue embarrassing yourself like this.
So I'm just a liar.
What I was quoting was an actual study done by the FBI.
Study.
Thank you.
Just prepare next time.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Prepare.
All right. She was quoting an actual study that Joe Biden said to do so he could find more racism so he could be right.
Sponsored by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, they have a study.
Should we make some T-shirts?
Yeah, sponsored
this race
by.
Is sponsored by Southern Poverty Law Center.
It's a study. They put together a study and they found what Joe told them to find. Yeah, guess what? The tobacco companies put together a study in the 80s that said nicotine's not addictive. They put a study together. By the way, every single expert witness that, Mark Garagos hires on a trial, they're experts. They say exactly what Mark tells them to say. They're ballistic experts, they're blood spatter experts. They're all experts. And they say exactly what Mark wants them to say. And then on the other side of the aisle, they have an expert for the other side, and they say the exact same thing their lawyer wants them to say. Yeah. So that's how the studies work, everybody, and the experts. That's how they work.
You got to look at the data, like who paid for this thing that says that 2 glasses of red wine a night is good for your iron levels.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy about that study. But I'll tell you what you really need to do. You need to do your own study. Like I did my own study on COVID. this is not killing any healthy kids. My kids have tons of friends. I haven't heard one story. I have tons of friends who have kids. I haven't heard one story. I'm looking around. Turn on the news. You want to turn on the news, you'll see tons of footage of like young black men punching Asian women in San Francisco. You don't see Klan rallies. God, they wish they had them. But just look around. Just look around. How many people got shot in Chicago last year? And you think that was the Klan? So anyway, they just fudge whatever all the time. And then also, you will be an expert at everything if you just kind of use common sense and eyeballs.
Yeah.
You could learn everything you need to learn about COVID just by common sense. But
discernment a little bit too, like going your gut instinct, or
half the people that told me to put a mask on had the strap on their mask twisted, so it made a figure eight and made a 7/8 gap on the side of their mask where I can see their face and nose. So maybe the mask isn't as effective as they think it is.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
So, speaking of fudging things, a top MAGA influencer has been revealed to be completely AI. It was created by a guy in India who made a mint of money off of lonely men. So this guy named Sam, in quotations marks, was a 22-year-old orthopedic surgeon in training, and he told Wired that he got the idea to sell AI-generated images of a young woman in a bikini while scrounging for money in school and trying to save up enough to immigrate to the U.S. after graduation. So I guess he decided to dupe men in the U.S. about using AI about this like MAGA gal. And the profile in one post showed her firing a rifle with the caption, quote, "If you want a reason to unfollow, Christ is king, abortion is murder, and all illegals must be deported. And POV, you were assigned intelligent at birth, but you identify as liberal." He said, he told Wired magazine, quote, "Every day I'd write something pro-Christian, pro-Second Amendment, pro-life, anti-abortion, anti-woke, and anti-immigration." And the account blew up. Emily Hart had 10,000 followers within a month, and every reel that he posted garnered millions of views and earned him even more followers. He thinks that he spent about 30 to 50 minutes of the day, and he apparently was making pretty decent money on this scheme.
So this beautiful blonde we're looking at
is fake.
Completely generated.
Completely AI generated by a 22-year-old kid in India.
You know what actually works? And the bikini shot, they're holding the camera up, so it's like a selfie shot, which is kind of diabolical. Because for some reason, that part of it would fool me.
Yeah.
I would go, if this was just generated, why are they taking a picture of themselves?
Yeah. I mean, her fingers look a little weird.
A little weird.
I think and her face looks more real in the bikini shot. So does the hair. Like, even like, you know, being a blonde, lighting is my downfall. Usually in black shirts on camera are not great because it's like you can just see all the like wispies and stuff. And like there are wispies. It looks like there's natural light behind her. You know, it's kind of crazy. The one on the right, like the drop the American flag emoji, if you agree, she looks a little too like filtered there that I think I'd take a second glance. But I mean, I talk to Gen Z gals in my life all the time. They're like, oh my God, I had to unfollow an account. I figured out that it was AI and I was so embarrassed in myself for not knowing any better.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the next generation is even going to care. For me, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing. Like, so you go, this is a Beyond Burger or whatever it is. It's not a real steak. It's a simulated steak, or that's not real pornography. That's AI pornography, or that wasn't an actual stunt man. That was all computer generated with the car going off the bridge, you know. And I think we are of the age where that kind of stuff ruins it for us. Like I go, nah, that didn't really happen. Okay.
Takes a little bit of the magic away, I think.
Yeah, well,
especially when it comes to,
you know, look, sorry to go into the realm of porn, but people go, I love, you know, Jennifer Aniston. And you go, oh, there's a topless picture of Jennifer Aniston. And you go, oh, I want to see that. And then you go, oh, that's not really Jennifer Aniston. And all of a sudden, all right, now look, it's still basically Jennifer Aniston naked. You know what I mean? But it's not really her. And I don't know if future generations are going to care. And you know, there used to be simulated wood. Not talking about porn. Talking about actual wood grain. And stuff that was like simulated wood grain looked like shit. Like countertops made out of formica that were supposed to look like wood, or vinyl floor tiles.
Or quartz versus quartzite. Like how it's gotten better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know you're talking about like countertops.
Yeah. Like the one that's made to look like.
No, stuff looks. Good point. Stuff looks good now. Is what I'm saying. So if you took a car, let's say a Mustang 2, Dawson. Mustang 2, like from the 70s. It had like a fake wood steering wheel and a fake wood stick shift knob, and it looked shitty. Now you can get porcelain tile floors that look like oak, and it looks good. Now, like the simulation kind of works now.
Has shifted.
Now, then the kind of question is, yeah, but I still like the vibe of an actual wood floor, like when I'm walking around with my shoes off in the morning, you know? So now you get into that. But I don't know whether it's flooring or Jennifer Aniston's titties. I don't know if people are going to care, the next group. They're going to just grow up watching it.
Yeah.
I think.
But I think that there is an interesting, when I go to college campuses or interact with the next generation, like there is something about like they are so digital in a lot of ways, but they also really enjoy like real life experiences and see the need to like touch grass.
Yeah.
So broadly speaking, and so I'm just like, and unfortunately, we've seen, I mean, look at like some of these Asian nations that like the men aren't dating because they're having sex with robots and just watching anime porn.
Hold on, let me yell at Andrew. Andrew, did you think I was looking for a distant shot of the outside of a Mustang 2? Because
Be nice
I
to
know what a
Andrew.
Mustang 2 looks like. No, I'm saying the steering wheel.
My bad, that's on me. We'll get the interior pictures.
The steering wheel and the stick shift knob.
Yeah.
I'm not asking what a Mustang 2 is.
Yep.
Okay.
That
happens a lot.
But to your point, like I think that can lead to the continual downfall of society when everything is so fake that people don't want to have real human interaction and do real things. Like drive an old car.
Like look at a Mustang 2 from a distance.
Or drive that Mustang 2 with the fake, wood knob that you're talking about.
Stick shift knob, I think, and the steering wheel. And the thing that was funny is that is not it, but that's a custom steering wheel that I think. Well, we can go in a little tighter and see if that is it or not. That could be it. Could be the Mustang 2 interior, but you got to pull in. I feel
I
like.
love how he's highlighting this is the Mustang 2 interior.
I
You're
know
like, I don't know if it's it.
That is an aftermarket steering wheel, I think. So now you got to find.
What about the dash? Like that looks like a
Dash is
faux
fake wood too. Yeah.
It has that like, not to knock my friends and family that have grown up or live in trailer parks, but like some of those trailers from like the 80s and the 90s that had like the side, like the interior faux siding. That's what that dash looked like to me.
The sad part is that a real Mustang 2 interior or is that an aftermarket wheel?
That says Ford Mustang 2. That's the image I keep getting.
All right. Oh, and the steering wheel's the same on all of them.
Yeah.
Huh.
It looked better than you thought it did.
No, it's the center part that looked like aftermarket to me.
Gotcha.
The thing that was funny is I still think that was an aftermarket steering wheel. The funny part is where you held it, like 10 and 2.
Yeah.
Eventually, the grain would wear off, and it'd just be like weird beige base plastic color there, like you could wear the fake grain.
It was like painted on.
Yeah.
Or like
It was,
laminated or
well,
something.
it's not. It's plastic, so there is no actual grain.
Yeah.
We got an update.
Nope.
That's what a steering wheel on a Mustang 2 looks like. Not the stupid aftermarket one that you have. I don't know. That's off a dune buggy. Because I know everything. Because I know everything.
Yeah, but a lot of people change their steering wheels. That's all that's left.
Listen, let me ask you this. Why is it every time I tell someone to look up a car on the internet, the first one comes on with aftermarket rims and exhaust and shit like that? Why is that?
Because all these cars are 50 years old and people fuck with them.
Yeah.
These original stuff, it just doesn't, it's not out there.
You should have known that first picture was not a standard Mustang
This reminds me
steering
of
wheel.
the interior of my grandmother's like 2-door Lincoln Continental from the late 80s.
Burnt orange, baby.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
the color.
hers was like burgundy.
I remember that Mustang 2 ad campaign. Shall I sing it?
Sure.
Mustang 2, boredom zero. I didn't get it my whole life.
They're keeping score.
I didn't. I was 11. I was like, I don't know what that means. You have 0 points.
Coca modeled that one, yeah.
But by the way, 2-0 is not exactly a landslide. You know what I mean? Like every NBA game starts off as 2-0. It's
How does it feel like a Mustang 2? How does it feel?
yeah.
The Mustang 2. How does it feel?
White people in commercials.
Star Mustang 2. Word on
Hardtop, 2+2, Stallion, and Cobra 2. The exciting Mustang 2s for $76 at your Ford dealer.
More white people. It's all white people. Even the singers are white. All right. I'm going to be in Vegas coming up. That'll be May 9th and 10th doing stand-up. Oh, yeah. At Kimmel's Club. 4 shows. And then Covina, Laugh Factory. Oh, special. Big guest. Big special guest.
Can you tell me off air?
Yeah, I'll tell you off air.
Cool.
I can't for certain reasons, but big guest for that. And then Visalia, Fox Theater, and that'll be 15th of May. 16th, Modesto State Theater. Go to adamcarolla.com for all the live stuff. We've got lots of merch at the merch store, too. What do you got, Alicia Krause?
Oh, you know, read my stuff over at the Daily Wire. Check me out at Instagram.
So, and till next time, Adam Carolla, for Janiyah Thomas, and Alicia Krause saying mahalo. Because because you're from Minnesota, the whole Somali thing, it's all up in the news now. And there's a danger to what's going on over there. I think we have a clip of the mayor, and he's speaking in Somali and doing all that stuff. I worry about this. People hate me because I don't like all the diversity shit.
Yeah.
Because it ends up this way, because it can't go any other way. But they call it xenophobic or racist or something. But I want to say this, and I've said it my whole career that I've spoken into a microphone, which is Somalia is Somalia because it's filled with Somalians. And Mexico is Mexico because it's filled with Mexicans. And Sweden's Sweden because it's filled with Swedes. It is what it is. And Germany's Germany and Italy's Italy. You can say whatever you want about any place. And I made this joke a million times, a million years ago. They go, this thing they do with like all these Middle Eastern countries, they go, it's the people. The people are good. The people are good, honest, hardworking people. It's the governor. It's the politicians. And I go, where are they from?
Yeah.
Yeah. What part of Norway? Dude, your shithole ashtray Middle Eastern country, where do you get? Oh, they're from your country. Oh, they're you. And then you vote them in. Mm-hmm. So let's not pretend that everything is the same.
Yeah.
Somali it's 2025. You guys still have pirates. You understand what year it is?
Yeah.
You understand? You do human trafficking, you have pirates, you have shit slavery, you have shit that we haven't had for 200 years around here. So let's not all pretend everything's the same. And by the way, I would prefer a German car to an American car.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm not USA #1, rah, 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 all the time. There's plenty of other countries. You know, if you said to me, I'm going to get an electric razor. Would you like one made in Germany, one made in Canada, one made in Mexico, or one made in America? I'll take the German one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going USA, per se.
Sure.
Okay. There's differences. There's differences in cultures. There's differences. We don't, for instance, the United States, we don't haggle. In Middle Eastern countries, if you don't haggle, you're considered retarded.
Yeah.
Like there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's just cultural differences. Okay, fine. And then some involve like female genital mutilation, and we go, well, we don't like that.
Sure.
And then others are like, every night in this culture, Sunday night, the grandparents and the parents, they all come together and they all have dinner together. I go, good, because my family got TV dinners and ran to separate rooms and watched a TV set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. That's a good thing. But don't expect when you import a lot of people from a certain place that they're not going to just start doing whatever it is they did in their place, because that's what they do. LA, when you drive through certain parts of LA, it looks like a goddamn street bazaar. There is cooking, there's sweaters, there's ponchos. There's stuff being sold all over the street. That never existed. It was impossible. I grew up here. Nobody sold anything on the street. You would go to a garage sale on a Sunday and drive around, people sell shit out of their garage. Mm-hmm. There's no commerce, there was no food, there's nothing. Well, now it's here, and we have a lot of it. Well, why? Well, we had a bunch of people who come from a culture who do that. Now, should we be angry at them? Not really. They're just doing what they did in their culture. And by the way, they're playing their music. They're not playing your Motley Crue. They're playing mariachi.
Shout. Yeah,
they go from Motley to Mary. Motliachi.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are certain cultures that treat women a certain way, treat gays a certain way, treat the environment a certain way. Like there's certain cultures that are trashier, like they don't recycle as much. And there are other cultures like Japanese who are fastidious, right? They clean up a lot. Okay, when you invite all these people in, you're going to get that. And I told you when I was walking through my dad's old neighborhood in South Philly, and I was doing shows in Philly, and I had some time, and I literally went to his old address in South Philly that I hadn't been to since I was 6, and I walked around South Philly, and it's a shit show, and there's garbage everywhere, and there's box springs and mattresses and old sofas out on the street. It looks like what it is, mm-hmm. right? And I felt bad for my dad, who grew up in South Philly, and I literally crossed the street. I was walking through the neighborhood, and I just crossed one intersection to the other side, immediately sparkling clean, no more garbage, no more junk out on the street, no more box springs or sofas, nothing. Became immediately clean.
Yeah.
And I, because I'm a pattern studier, I just stopped. It was me and Mike August walking around. He was looking for toilet paper. And I went, what's going on over here? And he's like, I go, well, now all of a sudden it's all orderly and clean and nice. Oh, yeah, there's no garbage over there. Just across the street. So I started working my brain. I was like, one side must be the city and must be the county or something like that. And the county takes care of their shit, but the city, whatever. And I was obsessed with it, and I kept I started saying to people, I go, what's the difference? We just crossed over Main Street here. It's okay. They go, this is the Japanese section. Mm-hmm. I go, oh, they clean up their shit. It's a culture.
Yeah.
That's the Japanese. When you cross Hoover Street, you're in Japanese territory, and Japanese people don't tolerate shit all over the fucking sidewalk. Mm-hmm. Okay, then you can go, is that good or bad? I don't know. I like clean sidewalks, so I'd be fine with that. So then if someone said, well, if we're going to take Japanese and import them into your neighborhood, I'd go, oh, clean sidewalk? All right, I'll do with that. But there are other cultures that are a little more trash-oriented, and I would go, no, I'm not all right with that. So this notion, let's just hear the mayor doing what's bound to happen, because once you keep importing these people, then they become a constituency, and then you have to start thinking about them because that's your voting block.
Sure.
So then the white guy, go ahead.
That's not American. That's not what we are about. And we're going to do right by every single person in our cities. And so, to our Somali community, Daman Shabka, Somaliyed Kunul, Minnesota Garahan, Minneapolis, Waan Ku Janila Hai, Waan Ku Gereb Taganahan.
It sounds so pandering, doesn't it? It sounds like you're just completely sucking off the people who vote for you that live in that state.
Right. And so what happens is the reason I don't want the teachers' unions funding Gavin Newsom's campaign is because then when COVID comes around, you shut the fucking schools down and Gavin Newsom can't tell you to open them, even if he wants it open, because he needs you and he needs your support and he needs your money.
Yeah.
So now you got Mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis, and he has to kowtow to this community.
Yep.
And now we're fucked because their community isn't the same as our community, and assimilation is fine, but you don't assimilate when you become a community.
Yeah.
Because why do you need to assimilate? You got your food, you got your people, you got your language, you got religion, you have everything else. And then they have to bend over backwards and explain that they're the backbone of democracy in this country and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you know it because you live there.
Well, here's the thing is this, he's totally, as you're talking about, like, pandering to the constituency, the people that are going to vote for him and the people that are on his side. But the second that he does anything that is against them, boy, they turn their backs on him immediately. Andrew, I should have brought this up to you, but see if you can find a video. This was during George Floyd, where during a protest, Mayor Fry went down to go have a conversation with the protesters. And essentially, a woman with a bullhorn tells him to get his white ass off her street, and he does it.
Well, here's the whole thing. It'll never work.
Never.
Big picture.
No.
Big picture, they're always going to fucking hate you. You'll never do enough. But what the problem is this becomes your constituency and your voter block. Bullshit. Then they start laundering money.
Yeah.
And it's always the euphemistic, it's kids first who care the most or whatever, feed the hungry, whatever. And then they start laundering the fucking money because it's free fucking money and they're doing what they would do.
Yeah. And I said this a year ago before any of this information came out about the fraud with the autism centers and all that. Because people would always say, like, what's going on in Minneapolis? It's a total shithole now. And it's not. Everything about Minneapolis is great. That whole city, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. But St. Paul's got a couple of problems in Lower Town after they put the light rail in. A lot of crime is happening in St. Paul right now. Minneapolis is still pretty good, but it's not Portland. It's not Seattle. It's not, like 6th Street in Austin. It's none of those things. It's a small block. And I always said, if there's anything going on, it's going to be something in government. It's going to be something behind the scenes that we're not seeing, because anytime there's a homeless encampment, we take care of it. Anytime there's something going on, we try to keep our streets as clean as we possibly can. There's going to be something that goes on that's going to be financially, and boom, this is what happens when you see. But this is the video Andrew was I told Andrew about, where Mayor Fry goes down to basically have a conversation, and they throw him out.
That's great.
Go home, Jacob. Go home.
Well, he's wearing a mask at least. I love this.
These are the people that voted for him, and that he's also kissing their ass in the last video we just watched. They tell him to leave.
Well, good. Oh, shame. Shame.
The mayor.
White silence is violence. I love that. I wish you would shut up, bitch.
Community, not cops. Yeah, okay. How did that work out?
Nothing works.
No.
None of their ideas. They're all fucking horrible ideas. None of them work. But so there was this whole money laundering thing, and it was Somalis, and then of course, if you brought it up, it was a hate crime, and this is their constituency, and so then the governor, Tim Walz, doesn't want to look into it. I love the lobby of Feeding Our Future. It's got all the kids from all the nations of the world. They love kids like Michael Jackson loved those kids, don't they? They love all the children of the world, and they also love a bunch of fucking free money, and they like to launder it, and it'll go back to their native land where they'll support terrorists. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you got pirates, you got terrorists. That's an awesome, but we're not judging. You can't judge. It's all great. I love Trump when he's up there. He's like, shithole. We don't want those people. I'm like, thank you. But what is the Somali area like? Like, what is different about it? What's good? What's bad? how's it changed?
Yeah, there's one section of Minneapolis which is called the West Bank, and Andrew or Dawson, you guys can find a photo of it. Look for it. Basically, just type in multicolored apartments Minneapolis, and across the street from downtown where the U.S. Bank Stadium is, across the Highway 35, there's a couple of high rises. These were built, I believe, there's a documentary that came out about it. It was built like in the 60s or 70s as luxury apartments. It was a beautiful place that they tried to get people into. The kind of the hippie region of West Bank tried to get this place torn down. They didn't want people to build it. It was built. Essentially what happened is the Somali community moves into Minneapolis and they sort of take over the West Bank. And what used to, that's them right there. We call those the crack stacks now. Mm-hmm. It is, I've driven past it a couple of times. There was a couple of great music venues and some great bars in that area, all of which have now moved out. A lot of the restaurants, which some of the food there, fantastic, but there isn't a lick of English anywhere around those.
I do want to say this to all the peoples of the world. You lived in a shithole that you had to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want to recreate that shithole here. Mm-hmm. But if you're not going to assimilate, then you will recreate your shithole here.
Yeah.
And by the way, you don't flourish.
No.
The Mexicans in Los Angeles don't flourish by selling street fucking food. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to assimilate, learn English, and become a doctor and a lawyer. That's the dream. That's how it works. But the politicians have decided that they're going to kiss your ass. And so, like when I was out here years ago, they're like English only in schools. And then, of course, the politicians are like, they need to be bilingual. No, they need to speak English and they need to learn English. And that's our language. And you're hurting them by trying to bend to their will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And now you got this. And then what they get to do is Tim Walz and these guys get just to call everything a hate crime if you want to then look into the $1 billion that got laundered and wasted by these fucking people with your stupid COVID policies.
Yeah. Andrew and I pulled this earlier. This is Tim Walz essentially saying, if there's fraud in this state, you need to go to jail. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe we turn this back on you, bud.
He's also, I was talking to Andrew about it today, but I think Tim Walz is dumb, right? Like there's some people he's fucking kooky and he's whatever, but he's also kind of dumb.
Yeah.
There's something dumb about him.
This goes back to the comment you made about guys like Brad Pitt who never really get out onto the circuit and do. We never had this because Tim Walz wasn't in the spotlight. And I was always a Tim Walz guy for years.
No, this is a Robert De Niro thing.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You think, I just watched the whole 5-part Scorsese thing. If you just watch that, you go, Robert De Niro's the fucking smartest man on the planet. Like until he shows up on The View, and now we know he's a dope.
Yeah.
Right. He should have never taught. No. The two guys who should have never opened their mouths were Bruce Springsteen and Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
We had them as geniuses. They could have sailed off into retirement, and that's all we ever would have thought. Now, I think of them as dopes. Sure. But anyway, here's Tim Walz. Sorry.
Again, my message is simple on this. You commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to prison. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are. Anybody who wants to help us in that, we welcome that. But setting on the sidelines and throwing out accusations, and let's be very clear, demonizing an entire population and lying to people about the safety and security of this state is beneath that. And I will just add, as a teacher and as a parent, the absolutely pathetic usage of a slur, not to me, I don't care what he calls me many things, but don't think that doesn't hurt our children, don't think it doesn't hurt people who are dealing with
retarded.
This. And this is not normal, it's not both sidesism. We're solving problems, we're making life more affordable, we're talking about bringing people in, and we're getting this.
Yeah. Anyway, he probably knew about it because people try to blow the whistle, but it was from his constituency, and they're powerful, and they need them, so they're not going to bust them because they don't want them to turn on them. And listen, you know this whole thing where they go, not every single Somali, not every single Somali in Somalia is anything. It's all it takes with any society is a small percentage of people. Like, if you just go, look, I come In Los Angeles, way less than 10% of the citizens are pirates. It's like 7.5%, maybe 8.2 are actual pirates.
Yeah.
Like, that's way too much. And if less than 5% of them are murderers or rapists, it's way too much. It has to be 0.000.
Yeah.
And so they get to do this thing where they go, most of these people are hardworking, good. Yeah, everybody, but then an alarmingly high percentage, which isn't really an alarmingly high percentage. Like, you wish that was your body fat percentage. It doesn't take 50%. It takes like 7%, and you're fucked. And that's what they don't. Then they go, but these people are hardworking. Yeah, they are. And then there's this group that isn't, and they do what they do.
Yeah, if you bake a cake with high-end ingredients and put 2 ounces of human shit in it, the whole cake's going to taste like shit.
Yeah, or fentanyl, but yeah. All right, what's our news story?
Well, since we're already talking about it, let's start with this. The Trump administration halted immigration applications from 19 countries deemed to be a high risk for producing terrorists and other national security threats.
Well, just the fact, if you really just think about it, in 2026, where it's just kind of accepted. Like, yeah, we have terrorist groups that sort of roam around. Like, could you imagine, like, we're like, yeah, we got groups of terrorists, but they're mostly in Wyoming and North Carolina. Like, just the idea that it's modern times and where there's places where you go, well, there's a lot of terrorist groups there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. You're on the fucking list. Sorry. And then you go, well, that's not fair to the hard. Yeah, it's not fair. But don't have terrorists in 2026. It's kind of, it's avoidable.
Sure.
You don't have to have terrorists.
Yeah, there's a reason why Canada is not on this list of the 19 places.
Almost no pirates and very little terrorists. Yes.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Afghanistan, Libya, Somalia, Venezuela, Yemen, all of the usual suspects that you would think would be on this list are exactly on this list. So,
yes.
Yeah. TSA will charge a $45 fee for all passengers without real ID. The U.S. Transportation Security Administration said on Monday it will begin charging travelers $45 on February 1st if their IDs do not meet stricter federal standards aimed at encouraging travelers to get the enhanced identity documents. This honestly, I just got a new license 4 months ago. I don't understand the enhanced security IDs. I don't know what is difference about it, other than it's an extra $31 at the DMV. Nothing has changed. I don't know why you need this. It just feels like a money grab.
I don't know, but I travel with my passport now because I can't. LA, I hope everyone's sitting down. The DMV is so fucked up.
Yeah.
The DMV is really just I don't want to call it a metaphor, but it's kind of like when you go in and you're going to get your blood work or the doctor's going to give you a physical or something. He doesn't need all your blood. He just needs a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit of your blood, and then he'll go, oh, man, you got low levels of iron, or you're pre-this, or you need that, or you're low in vitamin D, or like whatever. Just a sample of what's coursing through your entire body in order to know everything about what's going on inside your body. The DMV will tell you how that town is working.
Yeah.
And the fact that the LA DMV is always a shit show, it's like I've tried to make appointments. It's like they don't have anything for 4 months. It's always crowded. You can't walk in. It's not usable. It's not a coincidence that DMV's in LA because LA's a shit show. LA doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that is just a manifestation of how it doesn't work. You could really, I'm going to add, all right, so I can move to a town that has a Top Golf, a P.F. Chang's, and a Spearmint Rhino. Those are the
three. The trifecta.
Those are the three. Now, people go, you love strippers and Chinese food that much? I go, no. It shows a certain level of evolvement. It means we're prospering. And I do like strip clubs and Chinese food, by the way.
Sometimes together.
I think my new one I will add was I want to check out the DMV.
Sure.
Like if you go into the LA DMV, it's just a bunch of angry fucking foreign women standing behind the counter just glaring at everybody, pissed off, and there's a huge long line, and the place is a shit show. I want to check out your DMV. I want to know about your Top Golf. I want to know about your Spearmint Rhino. I want to check out your P.F. Chang's. And if I go into that Starbucks and I can just walk into the bathroom without punching a code into the door, I'm moving tonight. Tonight.
To not have to prepay for gas? Oh, what is this, Mayberry?
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Egan DMV, Egan, Minnesota. That is the DMV that I go to when I'm back in Minnesota. After I sold my house and my license was about to expire, I went down there, and you have to have 2 forms of identification to change your address on your ID. You have to have your insurance, and then there's one other thing you need. I don't remember what it is. I walked in with one of them, but my insurance, it was on my phone, and I didn't have a physical copy of it. And I go, I got to get a new ID. It expires in 4 days, but I got to change the address. And she said, well, you can't because you have to have an actual physical copy of the insurance, not on your phone. And I go, oh, well, can I just keep the old address on there? And she said, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And just handed me my ID, and it's like literally gave me the paperwork, and 4 days later I had a brand new license in the mail.
Not in Glendale.
Not in Glendale. No, man, they ain't putting up with that. No. The FDA commish says that
Well, to be fair, we forced a bunch of women, like we told women, you get to work.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm going to be a high-powered lawyer in the corner office or a big-time architect. No, bitch, you're going to the DMV. See, we told women, you get to work, but what we didn't tell them is most jobs are shit.
Yeah.
And you're either going to be at the airport or at the DMV, and now they're all standing there, and they're fucking pissed because they work at the DMV, and it sucks. And I think women, they're not as good at masking their feelings when they're unhappy about their workplace.
That's one more thing the Simpsons can say that they were the first at, is putting bitchy women in the DMV with Patty and Selma.
Yeah,
they
right.
called that one a long time ago.
Yes.
Yep. FDA commish says that mRNA flu shot will not be approved because it failed in seniors. He says, quote, we're not just going to rubber stamp new products that don't work, that fail in a clinical trial. It makes a mockery of science if we're going to just rubber stamp things with no data. And that was the MO in the Biden administration with the eternal COVID booster approvals for young, healthy kids.
Good.
Yeah.
That Kennedy doing that?
This was, what is his name? Marty McCary?
McCary, yeah. All the guys, basically, all the guys that were right about COVID who got blackballed are now in charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, great, right? And the more and more, I especially like the story that you and Dawson had the other day about the FDA and about the kids, and the more and more research that comes out, I don't know how much I've talked about it on this show, but it irks me that there isn't enough done and that there isn't enough research and that nobody cares about it. But I am for certain that my friend Ricky is dead because of the COVID vaccine. He was a healthy vegan who lived off the land in Wisconsin, and his wife said, "Hey, we're getting the COVID shot."
The wife, what?
We're getting boosters, and next thing you know, one of my best friends is now dead with absolutely no explanation. And I always said, I'll leave it to chance. Maybe there was something going on with the family. Maybe there was a heart condition. I'll leave it to chance until we get the autopsy back. And if that autopsy comes back inconclusive, then damn it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blame it on that shot. And son of a bitch, if that, the autopsy doesn't come back and it says inconclusive. So to me, I'm thinking that it's got to be something in that.
Well, healthy people should have never got it, especially young people.
Absolutely.
But, it's kind of interesting, which is women used to be barefoot and in the kitchen and pregnant and didn't have the right to vote and second-class citizens and whatever. And then at some point, they caught up, and now they're the majority of college students and professionals and things like that. At some point, they got into some sort of balance. There was an interruption in the balance where they somehow became in charge of all decisions at the House, which guys should have never signed off on, which I think all guys are kind of guilty of that. But they then became basically the custodian of the House. And so when stuff would come along such as a COVID vaccination, they're like, I'm taking the kids to get them vaccinated. And then you'd go, I don't want to take the kids to get vaccinated. Well, you don't get a vote. So, and then just go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing you could do about it. And that became sort of the new world order. And the folks and the powers that be figured out that if they're going to be in charge, then they're the people we need to talk to and we need to convince. And so you started noticing, like, Rochelle Walensky of the CDC was up there, like, as a mother. And, like, I could see all the dumb chicks sitting home going, look, I'm a mother too. And she's a mother. Oh, she's a mother first. And then she's a physician second. Or and then they stopped with the kind of, like, C. Everett Koop, that guy dressed like an admiral from the French Navy from 1871. Like, that guy was up there, scholarly guy wearing an admiral outfit.
Yeah.
That was a Surgeon General. And then we started replacing him. Like, C. Everett Koop looked like a dude.
Yeah.
He looked like a dude who was on the Kansas record album from like the from like the 70s or something. Like, whoever that guy was. I don't know, who was that guy, Dawson?
I know who you're talking about.
Kansas
we'll find the picture. Yeah.
All right. But you know what he was? He was the man, right? Mm-hmm. So then what they replace him with? A spindly Indian waif model. And that guy was like, oh, hey, ladies, I'm one of you. Watch how I cross my legs.
Yeah.
And Rochelle Walensky, and then the dwarf Fauci. And all of a sudden, they go, hey, listen, it'd be awesome. You really need to give your kid this experimental injection that he doesn't need, but for me, okay, moms. And then moms listened to us, and then the moms went, okay. Because it wasn't Trump saying it, and it wasn't C. Everett Koop, but he looks like John Milius. What's John Milius look like? The director? Thank you. Andrew, no one knows what John really. But that was a dude. And he had epaulets and he had war ribbons and stuff. And that was authority. And then we replaced him with an Indian waif model.
Yeah.
And all these, and then a he, she, tranny, whatever, you know, who was Admiral Levine. And then a chick in Rochelle Walensky. And then they just got there and they started going, hey, moms, listen to us. And they went, okay, I'll go get my kid vaccinated when I don't really need to. Because if it was C. Everett Koop saying, hey, bitches, do this, they'd go, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
For sure.
What the man has to say. And by the way, Madison Avenue's figured this out too. And so what they do is they get hold of the moms and they just sell them shit. It's basically fake science. All the Purell, all the antibacterial soaps, all the wiping of everything down, all the veggie wash and all that. They got a credit card. They're at home. The TV's on. The guy's on the road. He's working. He's out of the house. And they figured it out. So it was really... The whole COVID thing was about weaponizing the women to enforce. Yeah. Every argument I had was with a woman going, you need to get vaccinated. I'm like, why do I need to get, they need to get vaccinated. You can't come back. My son didn't say shit all through COVID. My daughter, all she did is explain to me how I had to put gloves on when I went to the supermarket, you know? So they became the enforcers. And we stupidly listened. Yeah. Because we couldn't unring the bell because we should have started 20 years ago going, hey, shut up. You don't get to make all the fucking decisions around this place. And by the way, I make the money, so I get a fucking vote. Yeah. Your plan is I make all the money and you get all the votes? I don't like that plan.
Yeah. It's too bad this wasn't happening like 20 years ago, because as you said, if somebody told my mom, do this for your children, she'd be like, no. Good. Yeah, I'm good. There's no way I'm listening to that.
Carolla wouldn't have done it.
No.
What is the guy's name from Kansas?
Robbie Steinhardt plays the fiddle. I'm trying to find a good picture.
You're looking for the record cover, though. I mean, aren't we? No, I'm talking the band Kansas had an illustrated record cover.
Oh, yeah, we've got that.
You got that? Yeah. That's.
I thought you were actually talking.
No.
Someone from Kansas? Yeah.
No, it was the actual band record cover. The guy looked like C. Everett Koop. But anyway, it's our fault for listening.
Yeah.
And then they got all the votes and they got all the control and then they just did whatever they did. I didn't get a vote whether my kids got vaccinated or not. What do we even watch? What are we even looking at?
Nothing screams dust in the wind like a guy with a shotgun in one hand, a Bible in the other.
I don't even. Beard. What is it called? What is now, Andrew? That's Milius.
Oh.
That's Andrew geeking out. No, I like the Kansas record cover better.
Yeah. That's great, man. Oh,
you gotta find. If you can find Dawson Rochelle Walensky talking about summer camp, it never gets old for me.
Yeah.
But that was the mom. So they took a bunch of people and they put them forth, and they were all wafy and wimpy and pussy and female and whatever. And then they tricked all the moms into listening to them because they didn't have a reaction to them. They couldn't have a bunch of big dudes tell you to get your shit together because they wouldn't have reacted to it. And then we got a bunch of people needlessly vaccinated.
When you're talking about how we went from, coupe to spindly, wafy Indian model, the way dudes are presenting themselves nowadays, I'm really taken back by it, especially for how much traveling I do and where I see it. There was a guy the other day, pair of Crocs, pajama pants. He's like 47 years old. Standing in line at the airport. We're waiting to get onto the flight. He's standing in front of me, and he's got a blankie with him so he can take a nap on his 90-minute flight. He's got a man bun. He's got a book in his hand, which I'm all about reading, sure. But he was swinging like a child in line, just swinging his arms. And he came across and he swung a little too far, hit me right in the dick.
Really?
Like, literally just popped back of his hand, just hit me right in the dick.
Should have knocked him out like Joe Pistone.
I was like, wow. And he never really apologized. He just kind of went, oh. And then he moved over a little bit and just kept swinging. Like, you know how an 8-year-old just swings their arms? I'm like, what is happening to people in America? Well, who are these dudes?
Their dudes ceased being dudes.
Yeah.
But dudes also figured out if they don't pose a threat, then they can get some pussy too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
there's a lot of that.
The book he was reading was called How to Look Like a Pussy at the Airport.
Well, it obviously did him well. Speaking of, since we're going down this route, the male makeover. Did you know that at least half of all men at some point in their lives will end up, it's maybe more so in America, they will end up with a set of moobs. They'll end up with male breasts. What do they call it? Gynomastia?
Yeah.
It is on the rise. It is the number one surgery of middle-aged men in America right now, and it is it's starting more and more at a younger age. It used to start on by about the age of 32, and now they're seeing it start in men at about the age of 18 to 19 years old.
Yeah, because they're growing up on all this shit.
Yeah,
and I've talked to guys. Got a friend who had a brother's son was going through this. Like he just ate canes. That's all he ate. Just ate. That's all he ate. Canes. You know. And then by the time he's 14, he had tits.
Yeah.
Like there. I mean, part of it is weight. Part of it is circulating estrogen. Part of it is plastics. In the environment. Like it's all killing testosterone, killing sperm counts. Like it's basically I wrote a book called 50 Years Will All Be Chicks. That book's like 15 years old now. We're heading.
Yeah.
We're on the move.
Well, even look at pro wrestlers back in like the 80s. Like you saw Axe and Smash of Demolition. And now you look at pictures of them and you go, dude, those guys had tits. They had actual tits like out in the ring. Those were boobs,
I think it's weight. And it's weight mixed with a whole bunch of like soybean oil and low testosterone and just all the environmental shit that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, there's no pushback anymore. Nobody is in for the last 40 years. Nobody has left 72 degrees everywhere you go. I mean, especially Minnesota, we start our cars from the house. We walk through a breezeway through the garage. We get in, we drive, we go to a covered, like a parking structure. We walk to our office. It never changes. There's nothing that's pushing back on you in the elements anymore.
Need some adversity.
Absolutely.
All right. Can't find Rochelle Walensky. Oh, you do find Rochelle Walensky. I never know if stuff gets forgotten about or not, but if you got her, Do it. This is her as a mom. You know, she's very concerned as a mom. This is a woman who's head of the CDC.
I'm still looking for it. It's pretty scrubbed. It usually used to pop up, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. I figured we had it somewhere in our computer, but that would be not labeled or something. But I do feel like I'd put this in our computer.
It several times,
played it 1,000 times. But maybe it's labeled something differently. But you're saying maybe taken from the scrub from the internet. I love that people scrubbed all their bullshit from lying from COVID. Oh, that's kind of nice.
Man, I wish I could do that to most of my career. Just go back and get all those terrible jokes I posted 7 years ago.
Oh, your jokes are great. Get the hell out of here. Well, we're going to have to find it and put it on our computer so we have it, because this is a perennial all-star for me, because I can't get enough of her lying about. And by the way, all they do is lie, and they're horrible at their job, and then at some point, they end up at Harvard.
Yeah.
And then they have a they end up some board on Harvard. They just fucking all end up at Harvard.
Yeah.
Which is another good reason not to send your fucking kids to Harvard. Now, look, Rochelle Walensky may be qualified, but turns out she's a liar. And she was basically told to lie and not to ask for... I was done with her. By the way, you should be done with everybody when she comes out and she said we should reopen schools, and then someone got hold of her from the Biden administration and told her to walk it back, and then she took it back.
Sure.
So... You know, if I come to your house and give you my opinion on how to build your house correctly, and, you know, if I say to you, your door's dragging, Rudy, don't undercut the door. Don't take the door off and plane the bottom of the door. You need to fix the upper hinges, suck the hinges in. That'll pull the door back up. Do not cut that door. And then I leave, and then somebody talks to me from the door division. And then I come back and I go, oh, hey, Rudy, about the door? I think you should undercut it.
Wrong.
I was wrong. I just undercut it. I wasn't speaking as a carpenter.
Yeah, as a carpenter,
I was speaking. I was off the clock. But anyway, now in my official capacity, you can go ahead and think I'm lying, or I've been corrupted.
Yeah, it's usually how it works.
All right. Doesn't exist, and not in our computers anywhere, even though it's been in our computers. Dawson, has this been in our computers, or we just go to the internet every time?
You know, I'm not sure. I always just kind of receive the audio through the mixer, but I was under the impression that, it does exist somewhere. We just it hasn't been sorted through. It's not
labeled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We got to do that labeling thing, which I've been talking about for 11 years. We never get to it. All right, Rochelle Walensky, talking about her kid going to summer camp, has been scrubbed from the internet. I will accept that. All right.
Okay.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Because she would just look like a lying piece of shit on the internet for the rest of eternity. But now she's off at Harvard, spending money and lying to a new generation of fucking kids.
All of the stuff that you want to find, they get rid of, but all the stuff that they're throwing down our throats right now, like so much. I know you don't spend a lot of time on social media, but the amount of AI fake videos that are coming your way, and they pump them out first thing when you open up that app, boom, right away. Something completely fake, and people are passing this stuff off like it's real. Like, did you see that this inmate who was on trial jumped up onto the judge's bench and then he got up through the air conditioning vent and then out the door, and you're like, and then you watch it and you go, well, this is clearly fake. Why are you guys pumping this out like this is wouldn't have this made the news?
Yeah. I will. It looks pretty good now, though, right?
It looks almost, In fact, South Park, speaking of, they just did an episode about this where it's almost like people are making AI revenge porn videos and pitting each other again and putting them out, and people can't tell the difference anymore. It's insane.
Well, you can clear the screen, by the way, from stuff that's old. I will give a plug to you, Rudy. Give a plug to me. Tomorrow night, Santa Barbara, California. My daughter and her friends are coming out to that one, so maybe I'll clean it up a little. At the Santa Barbara Comedy Club.
I'm going to do the Barbie in the microwave joke in front of her friends.
I may. She'll probably like that. Saturday, I'm going to be in Corona, Dos Lagos Amphitheater with Jay Moore, super funny guy, and then off to Florida couple shows in Miami on the 12th and the 13th at the Miami Improv. You can go to adamcarolla.com for all that. Rudy, where are your shows coming up?
I will be at Delirious Comedy Club, Silver Sevens in Las Vegas starting tonight all the way through Sunday. Mike Dawson will be joining me on all those shows. Can't wait. Yeah, good times. Absolutely. And then the weekend after, Huntsville, Alabama, Levity Live with Jonathan Kite. You can catch me there. I believe it's the 10th through the 12th, maybe. I can't remember the dates. But
so, till next time, I'm Carolla for Rudy Pavich and Billy Gardell saying mahalo. A clip to get into with all the Charlie Kirk stuff. Yeah. And, you know, for me, I guess the minds go in different places with these kinds of tragedies and situations. And for me, I'm kind of more the person that wants to examine the reactions versus the actual events. The events are baked into life, the assassinations, the plane crashes, the car crashes, the weird tragedies, the cut down in their prime, cut short, you know, that kind of stuff. It's sad, and I'd like it to go away, but it's kind of baked in to me. You know, we were talking Beatles, you know, John Lennon gunned down in the streets. Why? You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know why, but it seems to be baked in to our culture. All cultures, really. Just the tragedy and the sort of random tragedy of life. And so to me, when something like that happens, I tend to like focus on like our society and how we react and what we do, you know? And like when John Lennon gets gunned down in cold blood, then appropriately the following Sunday, you know, 250,000 people show up at the park and light a candle. That you know, and they play Give Peace a Chance, you know, and then you go, all right, but you don't have people on news channels making fun of John Lennon. You know what I mean? It wasn't acceptable. It wasn't, and you know, we didn't have the internet back then, but I imagine there wouldn't have been a lot of trolls talking shit about John Lennon back then. Now there would be. Now there would be.
But there have been, I don't know if you remember, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, people started to dissect Imagine and take apart like that it wasn't a positive song and the things he was saying. And I'm like, God, what are we doing that we're dissecting Imagine 40 years later? Yeah. Do you know?
I do hate that song, but yes, I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, there's a clip, and then I also kind of realized. So there was some controversy last week, which is the TMZ was doing their live stream, and they heard
raucous
laughter and cheering, and I wanted to kind of break it down. Then they gave an excuse that was because of a car chase, but when you sync up the timelines and you watch the car chase, it's pretty much a Daihatsu charade just going through LA to medium speed. There's no explosion. There's no pit maneuver. There's no rumble strip that pop the tires. There's nothing spectacular. There's nothing going on in the car chase that would elicit a reaction.
Okay.
Like, I've seen a million car chases, and the way car chases work is you just sit there and watch them, and then at some point the guy T-bones a Gardner truck, and you go, whoa!
Yeah.
But you don't really cheer or laugh. No. You just go, oh! You know, You know,
there's no cheering. We don't know who's in the car.
Right.
You're not rooting for anybody, for sure.
Right. So here's the tape, and he's doing a live stream, and you can hear what sounds like the cheers, and we'll just play it.
Bit that the driver is
so my
playing
guess
this cat and mouse
we're going to
game with
see
the
an
CHP,
image
which
of this guy
is so unusual to watch.
possibly in
I'm
the next
not
20
used to
minutes.
seeing
The
this
news conference is
It's
scheduled
superimposed over the car
the banner
chase.
below.
3
You can see
o'clock
it started
in Utah time,
City,
which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said that Charlie Kirk has died.
Go to.
All right, so there's clapping and cheering. Yeah. I'll show you the naked one without the car footage in it, but it's synced up, and the car can't even be seen. It's behind a building, and it's driving at kind of pedestrian speeds down a side street.
That's the 300 underdog got the knockout kind of cheer.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll play it to you without
that
superimposed.
is not what I was expecting him to look like.
Whatever.
He's a lawyer.
Sorry, here it is.
A visual of the shooter if he's still on the loose because they want to find him. So I would think that that's one of the main reasons they're holding this news conference. So my guess is we're going to see an image of this guy possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go to.
All right, so it's women. Seems like women clapping and hooting. Now I watch TMZ, and TMZ has the peanut gallery, and there's probably 15 to 20 people around, and there's like 1.5 conservative guys, and the other are just super progressive chicks. I mean, it's not a full 2.
Yeah.
And they're super. The chicks are super motivated liberals, and they're loud. Like they're like, "What?" You can hear them, and so there's no doubt. And they said, "Oh, they had to try to walk this back and say they were reacting to a car chase."
Yeah.
Women don't really care about car chases. They don't clap. They don't shriek. They're not that loud. They don't celebrate. So they were cheering the fact that Charlie Kirk had died. Okay. So then you go, well, what is it about that? Well, first things first, I don't think that women, and this is a societal thing, and it's what's going on now, and I've been complaining about for a long time, and no one will listen to me, and everyone thinks I'm a douchebag, but they're not as good at, Lady Gaga aside, the poker face. Like, if you said to one, if they had an arch enemy, and you just told this woman, Veronica's dead, she'd let out a cheer just spontaneously. Like, they're not that good at the keep it turned down. Their emotions are going to get out. So, like, a guy might think, oh, I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead, but he wouldn't vocalize. He wouldn't spontaneously make that noise in a public environment. You know what I mean? So they reacted. And they're happy about it because they're very progressive and very liberal. And if you think Charlie Kirk is going to help Hitlerian guys seize power and become the president of the United States, then it would make sense for you to cheer on his demise. And I've said this a million times. It's not an attack against those people. The French resistance were doing the right thing. There was a guy named Adolf Hitler. He was taking over Europe, and they fought him. And they fought him by any means possible. They faked IDs, and they got outfits, and they forged papers and stuff, and we applaud it. Because we go, you're trying to stop this Hitler who's trying to take over Europe. Well, if you keep calling Trump Hitler, then the people that attempt to assassinate him or assassinate his lieutenants or his generals or the people like Charlie Kirk that were responsible for putting him in office, then it all tracks. It all makes sense to me.
But listen, man, I would say that I am far right of Los Angeles, but I bet you I'm more left than a lot of people who listen to this show. And I really do consider myself somebody who lives in the middle because I'm somebody who's always thought if you have 4 years of Democrats, you should immediately then have 4 years of Republicans because that's what this country is. And people who live in a country, I feel like, need to be heard because when you're not heard and you're pushed underground, what happens? Yeah. You come up fucking fighting. All right. So I have always felt, whether I agree with it or not, 50% of the country, which is what we're usually split up in, needs to be serviced. You can't just have, 16 years of Democrats because what's going to come out is a bunch of angry fucking people. You can't have 16 years of Republicans because what's going to come out is angry people. People need to be heard. Yeah. So I think, though, at the same time with the left dehumanizing, because that's what that is. When you're calling somebody Hitler, in that group, Hitler, you're dehumanizing him.
Yeah.
At the same time, when all you do is refer to, I hear from people all the time, oh, you're one of the good ones. What does that mean?
Good Jews?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Barely a Jew.
I'm half Jew. Yeah.
You're Jew Billy.
I gotta tell you, somebody, because I'm full Jewish, but somebody told me the other day, you don't look Jewish, and I was like, you know what? By the way, I'm not offended by that. I take it as a compliment.
Yeah, you could almost be Italian. That's great.
Way better than looking like Seinfeld. But point being, if you're on the other side and all you say is radical left, and these people want to destroy our countries, it's the same thing. You're dehumanizing an entire group of people, which makes it easier to do terrible things to that group.
Yeah.
Right? So,
no, I agree. That I think the difference, and then we'll be honest here, which is I think it's policy versus person. You know, I live in California, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Gavin Newsom with this fucking clean needle exchange program. That just means more junkies at the park. Or he wants the girls to be able to use the boys' bathroom, and the boys, as long as they identify. That's so destructive, you know. But I don't say he's Hitler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when your policy is bad, it'd be nice if you change course on your policy, but you don't need to be killed. Your policy needs to change.
Yeah.
But if you are Hitler, then you do need to be put in the ground. So I would argue, and it's a weird thing because the left goes, we got to tone down the rhetoric, and then they go, he's Hitler.
Yeah, that's
and it's like
rhetoric.
You can't do that.
Yep.
You have to go, let's tone down the rhetoric. I think his policies are bad. I think tariffs are going to hurt this nation. I think what he's doing with ICE or whatever. But as soon as you start doing he's weaponized ICE, they're collecting citizens off the street and disappearing them into gulags, well, now that guy's got to go into the ground.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. Do you have that Jen Psaki clip I told you from? Because
the rhetoric in general, dude.
It's all heated.
It's so.
I see. I know. I'm pushing back because what I'm saying is I don't think the rhetoric is ever going to go away as long as our policies are that far apart.
I agree.
Okay, so you go.
I agree.
You go, I want the border shut down, locked down tight. Then you're like, I'm not going to put National Guard at the border. Okay, so we're never going to agree. And there's going to be a rhetoric. But the difference is calling somebody Hitler or calling them a dictator or whatever it is. That's who gets the sniper's bullet. The rhetoric and the disagreement and I said good day, sir, and storm out of the building and stuff, that doesn't require a bullet. Hitler requires a bullet.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if you're using logical terms, anybody in the War Department of Hitler, like any of the lieutenants or any of the folks that are behind him or trying to get him elevated, need a bullet as well, and that's the problem we're at. So here's the problem. Jen Psaki is up there talking to astronaut Kelly, and Trump releases a statement, and Trump basically says what I'm saying, which is you can't keep calling these people this and not expect attempts to be made on their life. It's not only is it logical, but if it's true, then it is a patriotic move to attempt this. I mean, Hitler. We don't look down at the guy who tried to blow up Hitler with the attaché case and Valkyrie with Tom Cruise. I mean, that guy was a hero.
Worst accent ever.
All right, but a hero for trying to do that because he was Hitler.
Yes.
Well, if you believe this, then it's almost a duty, is what I'm saying.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
I don't think they believe it. I think they say it and a handful of people believe it. But we'll listen to Jen Psaki here.
But he put out a 4-minute video, and I'm not going to play the video. I don't want to play the video. But there was a line at the end that I think I just wanted to raise and read. At the end of this 4-minute video, he says, "For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now." And obviously, there's a lot of rhetoric that is problematic. A lot of it is coming from one particular side and from one particular building. But what can be done? I fear when this is an escalation already in less than 24 hours of this shooting.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So she's calling it an escalation.
I have a question, though, okay?
Right. But you can, I'll just say this, like you can go low IQ Jeb Bush or sleepy Hillary Clinton. You don't need a bullet for sleepy.
Agreed.
You need a bullet for Hitler.
I agree.
And he's saying, stop calling people Hitler. That's what's causing this. And she's going, what's with the rhetoric? Why is that rhetoric?
Let me ask you a question, and I'm curious what your honest opinion is. Why do you think the Charlie Kirk story? I mean, honestly, one of the reasons it's never gonna go away is because we all watched it. And so that makes it so much more prominent in our brains. But why is the Charlie Kirk story bigger than the kids who died in the high school yesterday, or the senator who died at her house in Minnesota? Like, why do you think?
Because he took on an adversarial role with the trans community and the LGBT.
I'm with you. But why is this such a point the arrow moment, as opposed to somebody who came to a senator's house and killed him, or we still have kids dying multiple times in schools? So like, it's such a crazy thing to me. And by the way, nobody should die for having different opinions.
Yeah.
But the fact that kids died in a high school yesterday, and that story, or whenever, and that story is buried, is such a crazy moment in time for me to be like, this is not even top news in our country, is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, it is America.
Well, I mean, going back to, there's a kind of pragmatic side to what you're asking, which is if George Clooney dies on vacation in Mexico, it's a bigger story than Judge Reinhold dying on vacation in Mexico, just because that's who we are.
Right.
And you go, well, they're both actors. What about Judge Reinhold? It's like, well, one's more, on the tip of people's tongues. People know, like the senator and her husband and the dog or something. Like, it's horrible, but I didn't know her before the news.
South Park just lambasted him in a recent episode.
The
South Park did.
Oh, Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Cartman did a whole...
There's an element of that. And I think that's always going to be a well-known person versus 12th man on the NBA team. Sort of when Michael Jordan goes, it'll be a bigger deal than the ginger who's schooling up guys at the park. I can't remember his name.
And the fact that we had 6 different angles of it and all that shit. And
he's a meme, like an active meme. He has been for years.
Also, I think at age 31, his potential, like a lot of people said, he would have been the president at some point, so like it is a little bit of that, if you had a time machine, would you kill Hitler kind of thing. Like if you were super hard left and you bought into Charlie Kirk being Hitlerian and evil and racist and homophobic and stuff like that, then he could be the president in 20 years or 18 years or whatever it is. Yeah. So now we're dealing with that. My thing is all the talk in the world is fine, and all the disagreement in the world is fine, and all, calling a J.D. Pritzker fat or something, like, I don't like it, but it's fat. Like, I don't have to kill fat
you don't have to kill
people.
Fat guy,
right? And so I'm saying keep it all, get rid of the Hitlerian dictator part, which they won't get rid of. But if you get rid of that part, I think you'll have less assassination attempts. That's what I'm saying.
I do think it's an interesting thing I hadn't thought of, but almost, if you are thinking that this dude is Hitler, you're right. It almost feels patriotic to be like, well, then for the country, like, I hadn't thought about that.
For the good of humanity.
I hadn't thought about that in the danger in calling these people dictators.
Well, and also I would say this as a guy who knows people on the right and left, and I'll say this. I know who, Charlie Kirk, Dennis Prager, Tucker Carlson, sort of before he really started spinning out in the last few months. But I know, I've spent time with, had conversations with, I know all these guys.
Yeah.
They're nice guys.
Yeah.
And they're smart, and they have a different opinion. But the thing that I'd realize is, like, I disagree with Anderson Cooper, and I disagree with George Clooney, and I disagree with all these people, but I don't think they're bad people. I know who they are. I don't think George Clooney's evil. George Clooney's a super nice dude. He cares a lot. I think he comes from a position that's not he's a mom who loves the kid, who says, let him eat candy for breakfast. I love him, and I'm the dad is going, you're rotting his teeth out, give him some fucking broccoli. And you're going, he doesn't like broccoli, and I'll leave him alone. And I'm like, I don't think she doesn't love her son. I feel like she's doing something that's going the wrong direction, and the kid's getting fat, but I've never accused her of not having great love for her son. And there's millions of sort of Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. There's many people on the left, right? Those aren't bad people. Those are like family people, and they love their family. They love their nation and stuff like that. The right gets, and so I remember once I was, I watch football here on Sundays with with the boys years ago or something, and I just got done. Tucker Carlson came to town, and I did some stuff with him. And I said to him, "What are you doing in town?" I said, "I'm going home Sunday morning or whatever." And I go, "Oh well, I'm going to I'm doing a set at the Comedy Store Saturday night. You want to come by?" And he goes, yeah, I guess. I go, well, what are you doing? He goes, I'm just at the hotel. I got nothing to do. And my wife and kids no one's here. I go, well, why don't I'll pick you up. We'll go out to dinner, and then we'll go to the Comedy Store, and I'll do a set in the main room, crowded. You know, he's got baseball hat, sunglasses, Woody Allen nose attached to the glasses, scarf, collar pop. He comes trench coat, comes sliding in there, and then so the next day I went to watch football Sunday morning. And so when I walked in, people were like, "Hey, what's going on, man? What's been going on?" I said, "Well, it was funny. Last night I went out with Tucker Carlson. Went to the Comedy Store, which is you just got to picture Tucker Carlson walking into the Comedy Store, right?" And one of the guys, maybe two of the guys, I said, "Yeah, I was out with Tucker Carlson. We had dinner, and then we went to." I just heard my friend. He's going, "Bad dude. It's bad dude." And I said, he's not a bad dude. You don't know. By the way, you have a cartoon version of him that MSNBC stuffs up your fucking ass. You don't get to know any of these people. You don't know who Charlie Kirk is. You don't know who Dennis Prager is. You don't know Tucker Carlson. It's Sean Hannity. You don't know who any of these guys are. You just think they're evil. And if you're evil, you got to be stopped. Yep. And that's part of the problem. There's Whoopi Goldberg. Her clip resurfaced about she's sitting with Dylan Mulvaney. And
the Bud Light endorser, right?
Yes, yeah. And she's talking about how powerful women are, and she's a dope. I retweeted and said we forgot this woman she's a dope. Like Whoopi Goldberg is really fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think you can be talented and dumb. It's actually nice if you're talented and dumb, but she's talented or was talented and is now just left with dumb. Mm-hmm. The talent part got kind of rinsed out of the fabric of Whoopi, and now all that's left is dumb. But her comments, and then whoever is running for California, and I'll give you a primer here. She's talking to Piers Morgan. And he's kind of trying to drill down about so the Olympics are coming to the United States. Would you like to see this? And it's not Katie Porter. I would have told if it was Katie Porter. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll listen to Whoopi and her pearls of wisdom first, which I like. And by the way, whenever a woman or a black person or a black woman does you don't understand me because you're not black, they've lost they've cashed in their chips. They can't make an argument anymore because I don't know. I don't have fallopian tubing, so I couldn't possibly understand anything that has to do with a woman. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom said that he thinks that trans athletes competing in girls' and women's sports was deeply unfair. Now, I want to hear what you say, because I I'll tell you what I think, too.
Yeah. The last time I played a sport, I was 6 years old, and I was on a soccer team, but I assigned myself as the nurse. So I sat with the Band-Aids.
All right, hold on for a second. This, by the way, Dylan Mulvaney is insulting to all women because she's doing a bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost minstrel blackface. I want to leave it. Like it's insulting to women.
Sure.
Like women can't play sports, you know. So she's doing a dude's version of a chick, which is insulting. You can remove the name from the monitor I'm looking at here. But go ahead. Play it out. Sorry.
I played a sport. I was 6 years old, and I was on a soccer team, but I assigned myself as the nurse. So I sat with the Band-Aids. And so, in the words of Wicked, I am not that girl. But a dear friend of mine, Skylar, he is a trans athlete. His handle's Pink Manta Ray. That's someone who I really look to for guidance. And I think that is what's tricky is like now stepping in this identity. I'm still like a baby trans. You know, I've only 3 years in. Tomorrow's my anniversary.
Your friend went from female to male and is competing with other males.
Correct.
No.
Yeah.
Her friend.
Her friend went from female to male and is competing with other males.
So Gavin doesn't have a problem with that.
Well, I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know... All
right, hold on a second. Okay. I'm not a gynecologist, but I can picture LeBron James trying to post up one of the ladies from the WNBA, and I'm not a betting man either. But I'll take LeBron in his prime against anyone in the WNBA on a 1-on-1 to 21. I'll spot the chick 18.5 points, and I'll put my money on LeBron.
Playing to 21?
Yeah, that's what I'll do, because I don't think she's getting a shot off if he's properly motivated.
I'm not a woman, but I know what a dick is.
Yeah. All right, so let's listen to Whoopi. Roll back like 10 seconds. So we're going to really listen to Whoopi, all her wisdom. Well,
I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know,
all right, hold on a second. Her coworkers have to just be like, I used to do improv, and there were, out of the troupe of like 9 people, there were like 2 people who sucked, and we knew who it was. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, you're doing that group improv, and the chick who sucks goes, I'm just gonna, and you're just sitting there going, here we go. This is gonna, whatever this is, it's not gonna be good. Whoopi, the methadone is kicking in, and she's having trouble, and she's grabbing for stuff. This is the problem with men, because they don't know women's bodies, and they don't know how powerful we are with.
But you see how ridiculous that sounds.
Well, let's listen.
We know men's bodies. We know men's bodies because we have them.
It gets better. Here it is.
Know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue. The same for me as when people say,
if I was a female athlete, I would be rib shit pissed watching this right now going, are you seriously saying that it is okay?
All right, go back. Oh, give me the last 30. That's the best part.
Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue. The same for me as when people say, oh, you know, I don't know how I feel about you. You do. God doesn't make mistakes.
No.
And the challenge is not to the trans people, it's to the people who are not trans. That's what God is looking to see, how you treat people.
That's right. I have no fucking idea what this person just said, but she's right.
Yeah.
She's 100% right. There's no way America would tolerate 5 super dopey dudes just talking out of their ass all afternoon. They'd go fucking hit that guy at the folding chair, call the Sandman, get those idiots to fuck off the stage. You don't know what they're talking about.
They tried it on CBS. They tried it. It was Mario Lopez,
Bonaducci,
I think
Dick Clark.
Yeah. They tried, lasted like 4 months, and they went, nah, just forget it. What are we doing?
And they can talk.
Yeah.
She can't form a thought. God, is she dumb? It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, man.
Who's running? Who was talking to Piers Morgan, who was running for
Betty Yee?
Betty Yee. Sorry. Yeah, that's another great clip, too. These poor people, Piers Morgan interviews these people, and they say insane, asinine things, and then he asks them follow-up questions, and they're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I just said something insane and asinine.
You know, getting back to that Katie Porter thing, if I could explain to you when that question first came out, when she said, "What do you say to the millions or the however many people voted for Trump in California? How do you explain that you need them?" And she goes, "Well, I don't." And then she looked to her left at her campaign people and was like, "Wasn't that funny? Wasn't that brilliant?" She was trying to make a joke. And has the completely wrong read on everything.
Now, put her name on the screen, Andrew. You got Katie Porter's up there fast, but now we need this one. So Betty Yee, who's another Dumbo who may or may not ruin California, is being interviewed by Piers Morgan, and here's her solution for the transgender thing.
They are now part of, they have been through a transition, a physical transition, and I do believe that they should be able to participate with other female athletes.
Wow, well, you've got the Olympics coming to California, to LA. So are you suggesting that you would allow trans athletes to compete in women's sport in the Olympics if you were governor?
Well, I think there's still a lot of discussion that needs to happen. I think there's a lot of information we need to learn about what's really happening.
Hold on a second. You just got done saying you think they should be allowed to participate.
Yeah.
So why do we have to have a long discussion and more? All right, let's see if she answers.
The ability of trans athletes to compete, but my statement is about being able to be sure that they can compete. And right now,
but my question is whether you think they should compete in women's sport in the Olympics. Because it's coming to LA, so it's relevant.
I think transgender female athletes are women athletes, and they should be able to compete.
Really? These are 10-cent fucking heads.
So if you were governor of California, you would support biological males who identify as women competing in women's sport in the Olympics?
They are now identified as transgender female.
And you think that makes, and you think it's fair that they should then compete in women's sport?
I think they should be able to compete in women's sports, but I also think that there is still some discussion about whether they should compete in the same.
Hold on a second, you got to pause it because right off camera is the campaign worker that's looking down at their clipboard, going, "Oh, fucking Christ, we talked about this. Don't fucking do this." It's but here's the thing: these people are like they're essentially like yellow. And I don't even know if there's a pink belt in jiu-jitsu. Whatever the belt that shows up with the gi, that's the belt they are in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They literally, like, it has to show up with a belt. That belt is what shows up with the gi. That's what they have in logic and arguments. And then they run into Piers Morgan or they run into Bill Maher or Gavin Newsom runs into me and they get tapped out immediately. They immediately get tapped out because they have no skills and they've never thought about it.
It's a rainbow belt, by the way.
It's a rainbow belt. That's right. All right, let's listen to Piers go here.
Still some discussion about whether they should compete in the same field, but I just want them to be able to participate.
Sure, I'm sure you do. Why, out of interest, why do you think we separate the sexes in the Olympics?
Well, because they do come with different attributes in terms of physicality. And
so you accept that we separate the sexes because men have a physical advantage over women?
I know about an advantage in some sports.
Stop
yes,
here.
in other sports.
This is like my discussion with the P-trap with Mike 2 hours ago. Like, but Mike, we don't want water. Why are you taking? We want water, and because men and women have differences in P-traps. I was like, I had to keep going and going and going. Then eventually we got to the email. Oh, by the way, these 10-cent heads, they want to run California.
Sure.
And it's not all about Olympics and transgender. It's got a lot of other subjects they got to get into. Fire preparation and infrastructure. They're going to bring this dumb chick 10-cent head to every subject. That's the scary part.
Yep.
All right, let's listen. Let's listen.
I know about an advantage in some sports, yes, in other sports, maybe not.
Can you think of a single sport in the Olympics where men would not have an advantage over women, with the exception potentially of archery?
You know, I think you can see female athletes where, particularly in track and field, where agility is probably.
Hang on, are you suggesting that women? So hang on, you think that women could compete against men in track and field, like in 100 meters, 200 meters, 10,000 meters? Do you?
Perhaps, you know, I'm not a sports expert.
No shit.
I mean, of course they couldn't. Have you seen the times that women and men record in the Olympics for all track and field events? Have you watched Usain Bolt?
She knows.
When he smashed the world record for the 100 meters?
Yes.
So you think women could run against Usain Bolt, for example, at his peak, and that would be fair?
I think, look, I'm just going to say this. There's a lot of misinformation.
Right. Here's the whole point. Okay. When you have a 10-cent head, you have a 10-cent head. You don't have a 10-cent head with this subject, but you're brilliant in engineering and everything else. You have a 10-cent head. She has a 10-cent head, and she wants to be governor of California, and she would bring her 10-cent head with her weird tales of equality, her imaginary Narnia of equality, that she wants something, everyone's got to be treated fairly, nothing ever fucking works, and now it's a shit show.
Sure.
That's what we have. And that's what the 10-cent head does. And no one ever really, they compartmentalize too much. It's like, you have a 10-cent head. You should not be in charge of anything because you can't think clearly. That's what we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And again, it'll translate into any subject.
Well, usually when people start off in an endeavor, whether it be comedy, whether it be music, whether it be carpentry, whatever it is, you start out initially and you suck at it. And as time goes on, you get better. Mm-hmm. And I've never noticed anybody who is on the left who has ever gotten into politics from day one until the day that they leave whatever office it is or position that they have. They never seem to get better. They never seem to learn the skill at all.
It's sort of it's the inverse of that, because you pull tape of Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton from 2001, and they're talking about a border and not letting people in, and those people are going to commit crimes, and now all of a sudden they're for paying for the transgender surgery for illegals that are in prison. Like, oh, you're going the wrong direction fast. As a matter of fact, you used to be sane.
Yeah.
And then something happened.
Yeah. Nobody ever pulls these people aside and tells them maybe it's time. Like, I was on the way here today, and I had to have a conversation with a car salesman over the phone. And after 90 seconds, I thought, who told you should be selling cars?
Yes.
You have no idea what you're talking about. And after 90 seconds, I just went, you know what, man? I got another phone call coming in. I'm going to have to take this. I'll call you back. And I just got on, and I was like, I'll never buy a car from this person. You have no idea what they're talking about.